speaking about seeing where they're at in big tests, are Kraken against it in the thick of a playoff race. They played a few teams over the past week, not Anaheim, that are in the thick of their playoff races as well. Dallas fighting to be atop the Western Conference. Seattle's not too far behind points-wise, but with the losses, they've kind of knocked down a pair. And they play Dallas again tonight. So, Bel, why don't we look at our Kraken here?
Yeah, on March 7th, they played the Anaheim Ducks here at CPA. That was a win, 5-2. Our player of the game is forward Jared McCann with 1 goal, 1 assist, and 2 points. On the 9th, they traveled to, actually, these are all home games. They were back home versus the Ottawa Senators. That was a loss, a 1-point loss, 5-4. Our player of the game is Vince Dunn with 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points, a 4+-, 2 shots, 3 blocks, and 1 takeaway. And then on the 11th versus the Dallas Stars, an overtime loss, 4-3. Our player of the game was Vince Dunn once again with 2 points, 2 assists, 2 points, 2 shots, 3 hits, and 1 takeaway. Anything to note before we move on to player of the week here?
Well, firstly, as some kind of new-ish, we're doing go over photos from the past few games. We've got Brian Saldana over the first 2 games there against Anaheim, and then Ottawa in this one. John Gibson of the Ducks is trying to see. I mean, you can see it there if you look a little bit close. It's kind of tucked away, the puck right against near his head. Daniel Sprong's shot there clipped against his catching glove and spun around like a coin in the air before landing in the goal there. So Brian caught that as the puck is in action. And then here against Ottawa, Adam Larson trying to clear the crease here as Philip Grubauer is down on his knees. Seattle would lose that game to Ottawa, unfortunately. And then Mathew Bermudez, Bel knows something about Matt. Really like this shot. Matt had his first game on the glass, so congratulations to Matt on that. In here, he catches Ryan Donato's goal celebration after tying the game up at 2. Really big game for Donato, who scored in his first game back after being healthy scratched the last 2 games prior to this, and scored the game-tying goal on a clutch moment. He always has a knack for that sort of thing. Really cool to see that there. You can get some of the reaction from the crowd behind it. Just to look at those games, I mean, you beat Anaheim by 3 goals. You should have beat them. I mean, Anaheim's a bad team, arguably the worst in the NHL. So you took care of business, not really much to note there. Ottawa and Dallas. I say both of them because they're similar games here, and they're similar to the game that Seattle lost to Boston a little bit ago when they really, really tightly contested contest. Good one. But with Ottawa and Dallas here, Ottawa and Dallas are still kind of fighting for their spot. Ottawa is really fighting for their spot. They don't have one yet, at least officially. Dallas will have a spot, but they're still in the thick of things, and they're probably looking to lock up the conference. And Seattle's right up near them as well. These were games that are really close, but Seattle made little mistakes here and there, and good teams will take advantage of those mistakes. So the thing with Dallas, though, is that you played them again tonight, just a few days after you lost to them. So there's some things where I know that in the locker room, after losses, obviously, I'm sure you could be, oh, boo, and this and that. But the locker room seemed pretty optimistic and ready to kind of just get back to work at it against a really talented Dallas team. So, I mean, there were positives to take from this game. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it was all negative, honestly. Dave Haxtell said it after the Dallas game. He said, we scored enough. That wasn't the problem. The problem was that we let in too many. And that ended up being the case. That game went to overtime, so Seattle did get the extra point from that game against Dallas. And they dominated possession in overtime. They just never really got a real shot off on Jake Ottinger. Jake Ottinger, one of the best goaltenders in all of NHL. So you can't just throw stuff at him and expect it to stick. He's a really good goaltender. You got to be better about it than they were, and you got to get to the net more. And this is what I'm talking about. I have, it might be months now. I think it was weeks, maybe months, where we looked at players defensively for the Kraken that were just left wide open.
We've got net front where here. They're all in a line.
Oh yeah, I did not Yeah, that one. They did not get that one. But you can see here on the this was the Beniers and Eberle got the goal on this one. You can see they're right in front of Ottinger. They're right in front of him. That's what you want to do in that. You don't want to be able to give him an opportunity to see the puck when it's sent up from the player at the point there. I believe that's Vince Dunn at the point. And then eventually they moved out of you see how they go from right there in the middle. They clear space when the puck comes down, and then a stick is on it and it gets redirected. That's a goal there. We go over here to Ryan Donato's goal. Daniel Sprong right in the way, jockeying for position in front of Ottinger. And then Donato is also battling a defenseman and is in the way, in the viewpoint of Jake Ottinger. And then that would eventually, you can see here, Ottinger's looking, he's not even looking at the puck. He's looking over there. You've got 3 stars all confused. Daniel Sprong's occupying a guy behind the net, and Donato is able to just whack at that one. Ottinger never sees it, So generating that pressure net front is such a big thing. In general, that's something that Seattle should be better about as a whole, because it leads to goals like that Donato one where it just a puck ends up right in front of you. The goalie either doesn't see it, is sprawled out, or just doesn't know you're there. Whack at it, That's something that Seattle should be focused on. But against great goaltenders like Ottinger, you're not going to just beat him just slamming shots away. It's not going to happen. So that's something to note. But, yeah, I saw your pick here, and it just made a lot of sense for a guy that's had a career year, who's earned an extension, and has been able to contribute in all those games. Even in this game against Dallas, despite the fact that Dallas put up 4 goals, Dunn had a 4+-, which is pretty impressive for a defenseman, especially in a high-scoring game like that. So why don't we look at the stats for Vince?
Yeah, so our collective player of the week here was Vince Dunn. He had 1 goal, 4 assists, 5 points, a 4+-, 4 shots, 4 hits, and 3 blocks, and he's currently on a 9-game point streak. So something that I usually reward is consistency, and this guy has just been super consistent lately. So exciting to watch, and I was torn. I did kind of want to give it to Wenberg this week because I think he just hit his 300th point, right? So, and he had a very nice assist in that loss against Dallas. So, but yes, Vince Dunn is someone that has been just showing himself on the ice, and you can't really dismiss what he's done. So.
Well earned an extension, that's for sure. I'll help you out here. Tonight is Pride Night, so the Kraken will be celebrating Pride Night. I'm hoping that there's no players that decide to not wear the warm-up jerseys. I don't want to have to deal with that whole thing there. Really quickly, we'll get a picture of those that they'll wear tonight against Dallas in warm-ups, and then those jerseys will be auctioned off to benefit the One Roof Foundation. There you go. You can see the front there. See if we can get some closer looks, as well as the anchor on the side of it that was designed. There is merchandise in the Kraken team stores, as well as our website. A lot of that stuff on the Hockey is for Everyone nights goes really quick. You can see the different colors there in the S are different hands joining together. And then speaking of hands joining together, the anchor logo there is 2 hands forming a heart as well. So that's always really cool to see what the designs are for these Hockey is for Everyone nights. Especially I've got the Black History Month one here. So always really cool to see that on what the artists come up with. So looking ahead, the Kraken sit at a 37-win, 22-loss, 7 overtime loss record. They are 3rd in the Pacific Division with 81 points. Looking ahead, March 13th tonight versus the Dallas Stars is a 7 p.m. puck drop. March 16th at the San Jose Sharks, so they go on the road for a quick stop. There is a 7:30 p.m. puck drop. March 18th versus the Edmonton Oilers. Seattle returns home for a Saturday game at 1 o'clock and a divisional opponent. Edmonton, one of the better teams in all of NHL. They actually beat the Bruins the other day, and Boston's kind of been far and above the best team in the league. So that was a little bit of a surprise. Big divisional matchup there. I think I kind of hinted at it before, and I think I've said it in prior weeks. Every point for the Kraken matters. as the rest of the regular season plays out. I mean, they are in a playoff spot right now, but you have the division is even in reach. Vegas is going to keep winning, unfortunately. But the things aren't over yet. Despite the fact that you're holding a playoff spot doesn't mean anything until that's all locked in officially.